Folks, it is March. It is that time of year. College basketball is here, and it's just absolutely amazing. I was going to try and rhyme because I thought I had something going there, but I didn't. I was feeling good,
Yeah, no, no, it's March 4th. And that matches the fourth time we are trying this. We've had technical difficult difficulties for the last three times. But it is March. It's a great March because March Madness,
I,
best thing on planet Earth.
I mean, I am excited. College baseball as well. I know it's not today's topic, but just a lot of great things going around. Hockey's
Yeah,
back.
hold that for tomorrow.
I know hockey's back. I'm too excited. I can't contain my excitement, man.
I
But
know.
you are right. It is March, and today, guess what? We're talking about college basketball.
And golf. Don't forget golf.
Gotta have
Yeah.
golf. Obviously, on today's menu, PGA Tour. We're going to recap the Cognizant Classic, plus preview the Arnold Palmer Invitational, a signature event. But today's, as some would say, meat and potatoes, it's March Madness. We're going to talk about the conference tournaments, talk about our predictions. Obviously, we weren't able to post on Monday because we were kind of busy, but talk about those picks, kind of talk about last week a little bit, and then no stress meter. I know you're sad, Jaden, but I want to talk about some bubble teams because I really want to hone in and focus there because, as you and I know, the debate every year is always about who should be in and who should be out. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there. But with that being said, let's go and hop into the PGA Tour. Let's go ahead and recap last week, the Cognizant Classic.
Yep.
Okay, let's not butcher this name. Nico Echevarria.
There you go.
He caught a dub this week
Indeed.
and weekend, whatever you want to call it. He played very well. He was first in strokes gained total, second in scrambling, first in strokes gained putting, third in putts for green regulation, fourth in strokes gained approach to green, and eighth in strokes gained around the green. Again, I mean, a great week for Nico. He beat out Shane Lowry. Obviously, devastation. Finds the water. You know,
Only person. Only person.
Only person. One of us was hoping our guys would win. Well, you were in a nice comeback final round, but obviously it definitely wasn't enough. But Jay, go ahead and give us your takeaways from this week.
Disappointed because I thought I had the win in my books. I thought Shane was going to pull it off. He had every right to do so, and he blew it. But yeah, great for Nico. Amazing win this week. With how his year has started so far, this is amazing for him. He was cut in his first three events he played, that being the Sony, the American Express, and the WM. And then he tied eighth at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and then got cut last week at the Genesis. So he came into this week looking for something better than that, and got a win. And his numbers showed it. Really showed it. All his numbers were better than, obviously, any of the rest of the year. And he added a stroke gained putting. He added half a stroke gained around the green. 1.5 strokes approach. Almost half stroke tee off the tee. And then obviously added 3.5 strokes in total. So he was better in all those categories by that much. And his distance and accuracy was good. I mean, he had a great week, is really easiest way to put it. This is now his third win on the PGA Tour, and he won the 2024 Zozo, 2023 Puerto Rican Open, and then Cognizant, I believe, for those 3 wins. So I mean, hey, good. I mean, maybe this kind of surges him up the ladder and gets him going a little bit because he's a good player. Just has had a tough start to the year, and this one puts him up to 6th in the FedEx Cup ranking. So big week for him, and hopefully you can keep it going.
You mentioned the coach before and how he was able to bounce back this week. That's huge and really great to see. But speaking of bounce back, let's go with Arnold Palmer Invitational. And bounce back. Scotty's playing this week. Love to see him bounce back. But one of this week, Arnold Palmer, your previous winners, Russell Henley last year, Scotty Scheffler the year before, Kurt Kitayama the year before, and Scotty Scheffler the year before that. Scotty loves this place. Um,
Doesn't he?
just kind of some mental notes for me here. I think some big keys going to this course, putting, strokes game putting. You want to be up top of that list.
Mm-hmm.
Driving distance, you need to hit the ball pretty far. This ball favors distance. Uh, obviously, Bryson not on the PGA Tour, but before Scotty Scheffler won, Bryson won before him. Uh, so I think, distance is huge. Accuracy is always, you got to find the fairway. You got to put an iron in your hand. And then strokes gain approach to green. Going to have to get some shots there. That's kind of my takeaways. At least knows what kind of how this course is going to play out this week. I think that's my keys. Anything you kind of want to add on to that, or kind of your thoughts going into this week?
I would just say in the last couple of years, it's Bay Hill's been a little bit different than years past. Obviously, you had said to begin with the favor the Bombers at the ball, and the last 2 years it's kind of flipped. I mean, I would say more than likely it's going to be the same this year. Last year it's strongly favored, accuracy based, and there's a reason why Russell Henley won. Not the longest hitter of the ball, but very, very accurate. And then the year before, it also favored accuracy, and Scotty Scheffler won. And again, but he hits it far, but his accuracy is legitimately his best part of the game. So I'd say going into this week, that's probably what it'll be. Is that I imagine it'll be an accuracy based thing. It depends how hard these greens are. If they're really fast and hard, then this course could definitely be all accuracy. If they're soft, then it's going to favor the Bombers of the ball. But I guess we'll see. And yeah, really look forward to this week.
They're going to be a fun week. I kind of want to get into. Well, we'll go with odds first. What are odds looking like this week, JD?
Well, Scotty's playing, so exactly what you would imagine they are. Scotty's favored by 1 million, obviously. He's plus 325. Actually, a little closer than weeks past. He's plus 325 this week. Rory is plus 800, so a little closer margins. But then after that, it's a big drop off. Tommy Fleetwood comes in at plus 1600, Xander at plus 1750, and then everybody else is 2250 or above. And yeah, again, Scotty's going to be favored in every single tournament he plays, so that's not surprising.
Sure. Do you want me to go first, making our prediction for this week, or would you like to go first and give your dark horses and your pick?
You can go ahead. Yeah, we'll start with you.
So I put 5 guys on this list who I think could win, and one's and just kind of more off kind of the style of the course as well, making my selection. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Scotty's number 1 on my list for me. Or really no particular order, but Scotty's the first guy on my list. Obviously, he's won through the past 4 years. He's a great golfer. Obviously, this year may have not been how he wanted to kind of play it out so far, but it's still Scotty Scheffler. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Colin Morikawa. I think this course kind of fits his play. And I think iron play wise, I think this will suit him well. And he's already won this year. So, he could definitely do it again. Number 3, I got Rory. Rory, very solid player. He can hit the ball a mile. I'm kind of interested to see how he plays this week. And the big thing for him is keeping the big numbers off the card. That's kind of lost him a couple of these tournaments. But I think for him, if he can keep the big numbers off the card, I think he will be set.
Yeah.
And then these are where my 2 kind of drop-offs go. I got Siwoo Kim as my next guy. I think, again, a lot of this is just all style of golf. I think style-wise and how this course plays, I think this fits Siwoo. And I think he could have, and he was up top to start the year. He's finished, You see his name on top of a couple leaderboards, so he could have an opportunity to win this week. And then I got Joel Damon on here. Joel Damon, again, kind of how I think fits the course. I think Joel Damon, I think he can fit this golf. It's a course that his game wise, I think his game fits this course. Obviously, you don't see him on top of leaderboard, too often, but he has been up there. And to me, I feel like these are 5 guys who could win this week.
I think it's all guys that could definitely win, all guys that I looked at. My list is we'll go dark horses first, as I like to do. Just to recap, dark horses are only plus 3,000 and more. So all the guys below that, not picking them. So my dark horse selections for this week, though, they all kind of make sense. They've all been playing good golf this year, and there's absolutely no reason why I couldn't see them winning. But to begin with, we'll go with the highest on this week at plus 6,000, Akshay Bhatia. Now I know he may not be the most accurate player on the planet, but the man, specifically maybe not with his driver, but the man can hit the ball. He's been playing great this year, and I mean, I don't see a reason why this would change, to be honest with you. He's played great. His putting's been really good this year, and hey, I mean, that can win you a golf tournament.
Yeah.
And his approach game has been amazing. And so if his approach game's amazing, and this course really does favor just like the accuracy part in the approach game, if he can just put his driving out there a little bit, he can definitely take advantage. And with his putting, he can make some putts and he can go deep. He's obviously, the last 3 tournaments he's placed tied 3rd, tied 6th, and tied 16th. And he's played insane golf. So I think he's due for a win soon enough. And I think this could definitely be a week he could do it. So yeah, that's my first guy. And then second,
I don't mean to interrupt. I kind of just quickly kind of going through this, and I remember, 4 years ago when I was just getting into golf, I would go on YouTube. I'd obviously just look up junior golfers. I remember just watching him, kind of his craft and how he does things, just the way he carries himself. I mean, a lot of talent and a lot of I say commitment to his craft. And again, like you said, he's due.
Yeah, for sure. Another guy who was due until last week, Jacob Richman. He comes out at plus 5,000, coming off of a win at the Genesis. He's played insane golf this year compared. If you don't know how good he's played, go watch the episode from last weekend that we did, and how I explained all his stats from 2025 to this year, or just since he's been on tour. Insane turnaround. But he sits at plus 5,000, coming off of a win. He putts the ball insanely well. Another guy who putts amazing. And his approach game, especially at the Genesis, was fantastic. If he does that again, there's no reason why he can't win. And his around the greens has been good this year. And so the only thing that kind of holds him back is maybe his driver at some points. And Bay Hill's definitely some place that's going to test that. So he's going to have to be good on that end of the spectrum. But again, he's coming off of a win. He's at a tied 4th. He's at a tied 8th, tied 13th, tied 18th. Top 20 in every single event so far he's played. Or better, obviously. And he's been amazing. So I think he will definitely keep it rolling this week. If not, like I said, being a dark horse, if not, he could potentially win. And then the next guy, I want to say, sitting at plus 5,000 as well, is another guy who's played great golf this year. But he absolutely nails the ball. He hits it more than a mile, maybe more than a country mile, as some people don't like to say it. Min Woo Lee. He sits at plus 5,000 for this week. He's played good golf this year so far. Obviously, I had a tied 5th at the Australian PGA Championship And then had a tied 14th at the Crown Australian Open, DP World Events. Sorry, and then tied second in the Pebble Beach Pro Am, and tied 12th last week at the Genesis. Yeah, I mean, he's been playing great. We know what he can do with his driver, how far he can hit it. Accuracy can be iffy at some points, but he's been really good around the green, and he's been really good at putting this year. And so, I mean, why couldn't the man win? We've seen these Florida swings be really good in his favor. He likes to come down and play in Florida. He plays really well in these events. So I don't see why he can't win this week. And then last guy, another guy who I think is absolutely due for a win. And if he doesn't get it this week, he will get it at some point this year. Sitting at plus 3,000, one of the best, if not the best swing on tour, just tempo-wise as well, Jake Knapp. Jake Knapp. He sits 5th in the FedEx Cup standings right now. He's played amazing golf this week. He only top 15 and below. That's it. He had a tied T11th at the Sony, T5th at the Farmers Insurance, 8th at the WM, T8th at the Pebble Beach Pro Am, and 6th at the Genesis. This man has been outstanding this year. And I don't see why he can't get a win. He loves Florida golf. Why can't he just come down here and win? I think, honestly, he is. Who knows? He might be my pick for the week. Driving distance, obviously, even with that smooth swing, he hits it a mile, and then his putting is absolutely insanity. If he's up there for conversation of one of the best putter, if not the best putter on tour, especially right now, because he is insanely good in that area of his golf game, and his approach game has been pretty good this year. So all those things can win you the tournament, especially at Bay Hill. So I don't see any reason why he can't win this week, and I'd love to see it, and love to see him get a second PGA Tour victory.
For sure, man. So, with that being said, you're going to go first. Who you got this week?
First. Man. You see, it's so tough. It really is. I mean, it's a signature event, if we haven't mentioned that already. It's a signature event. Everybody's playing in it. Everybody that's good is playing in it. And so basically anybody can win because they're all that good. I just talked up Jake Knapp, and I really want to pick him. And it's honestly, it comes down to two guys. It comes down to two guys for me. It's him, it's Jake Knapp, or it's Scotty Scheffler. And how many times have I picked Scotty this year? 3 times. This would be my third if I picked him this week, and he hasn't won me at all. It's Florida. It's Bay Hill. He'll have a good first round. I have to. Maybe Jake Knapp comes in second. And maybe it hurts me, or maybe he wins and it hurts me even more. But I hate to do it, but I don't, because I love the guy. I love watching him play golf, but I have to go with Scotty.
Well,
I think I'm a broken record. I'm just a broken record. Sorry. If Scotty's on the board, it's almost like I'm going to pick him every time.
I haven't picked Scotty that much this year.
No, you haven't. I don't think you picked him once, have you?
Until this week.
Okay. Well,
I am taking Scotty. Scotty was my pick. I mean, Scotty is just too good. He didn't play last week.
Especially in Florida.
Oh, yeah. And he's won twice in the last 4 years here. I mean, he's too good. I think he's going to have a great start. I think he's going to have a good opening round. Yeah, I think he's going to.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only thing. If he has a good first round, he's winning any tournament.
He won't play badly. He's going to be right in the middle. Play a solid round. He'll be in contention, and he's going to win. I'm going to take Scotty this week at Bay Hill.
Well, we're going with the same picks. This is the first week in a row. This is the first week we've done this, and either we're both right or we're both wrong. So
Because
no in
something
between.
better. Okay,
Yeah.
that's your pick. That's your preview and recap of this week's Arnold Palmer recap of the Continental Classic last week. But now it's time to jump into some college basketball. Obviously, last week, Florida, Arizona, Michigan, Duke, just handling business. I do want to talk about Florida because I think there's a legitimate argument that they should get the number one, that they could. Not saying they should. I think they should.
I don't know why you say it's a legitimate argument like it wouldn't have, like it wasn't already a legitimate argument. Because I
I'm
think
not saying in a way you're
I
right.
think it's definitely. I know I get it. I'm a Florida fan. I understand. I'm gonna be a little biased, but at the same time, um, I mean, it's there. There's every reason to give it to them. You look at their all their statistical rankings, net, Torvik, Kim Palm, whatever you want to look at. I don't care. You look at them and they're insane. I think Torvik ranks them as the second best team, only behind Duke since January, in best play of ball, which is just insanity. They're fourth in net ranking. There's absolutely no reason why they can't get a 1 seed if they beat Kentucky this weekend and then just win all the tournament games in the SEC like they probably should. Come Selection Sunday. Obviously, they won't have the championship game before Selection Sunday, sadly. But it won't matter at that point. But when all the games up to that point, they get a bunch of quad one wins, which UConn will not. The only quad one wins that are even out there potential is St. John's or Villanova. And they're probably only going to play one of those teams once, maybe potentially twice, but I don't know what the Big East bracket looks like yet. So maybe twice, maybe they play both of them, maybe they only play one of them, maybe they play neither of them. If they don't win the Big East, I think Florida has every right to get it, especially if they win all those games. But at the same time, even if UConn wins the Big East and Florida wins the SEC, I think there's definitely a good argument just as well.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that we have to keep in mind is the head-to-head. Because UConn did beat
No,
Florida.
no, that's not how basketball works, but it's not how basketball works. Basketball doesn't work head to head.
You don't think the committee just think about the head-to-head that UConn beat Florida?
No, not at all. Legitimately, not at all. Like it's not football. They don't care about head to head. Because if that was the case, then every team that beats somebody should be above every other team, and that's just not. They're not going to do that, especially based off of statistics. Because again, this is the reason why I love college basketball, is because it's based all on statistics and it's not based on opinion. And if statistically Florida is better in every other way than UConn, quad one wins, which they'd be way above UConn for every single number. And just rankings in general, all the ones I named. If all those statistical things are better, I don't see a reason why the committee would say no to that. Even though, yes, UConn did beat them earlier in the season, but that was basically a home game for UConn. They're going to look at that. It's a good loss at that point. And this Florida team's completely different than it was then. The eye test is a thing, yes, and they win the eye test right now. If it comes down to that, I am just going to be completely honest with you. No, I don't think they will look at a single reason of why they look at that game of UConn beating Florida.
Okay. I guess we both have our own opinions, but that's my thought. But again, I think Florida's been playing great ball. Really exciting to kind of see how the number one seeds pan out. Now, I do want to go ahead and get into. Well, let me ask you. You want to do our conference picks first, or you want to go into the bubble watch?
Well, since we're already talking about seating and you know everything, and we're right here, we might as well talk about the bracketology and who is in and who is out right now. And I think that makes the most sense. So yeah, we'll look at that, and we'll talk about it a little bit. See what we think they're at.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big question, of course, now at this time is obviously the bubble teams. Some teams in mind. You obviously have TCU, which you got TCU. Uh, you got Santa Clara. The big one being Auburn, but I think it's been pretty hilarious watching the backlash that Bruce Pearl's been getting. I guess is that the word I want to use. They've been getting after him with the comments of the Miami, Ohio deal. That's something, that's a big deal. But
I have my own opinion on that, but probably nobody wants to hear it.
but uh, again, let's start with the bracketology before we kind of get there. Um, right now, let's talk about our one seeds, obviously. So your current one seeds right now, right? Who we got number one seed?
Oh, you're asking me about them. Um, One seeds have not changed. UConn, Arizona, Duke, Michigan. That's your one seeds right now.
Three
And
really
obviously, we talked
lost.
about Florida potentially moving up. Um, that could easily be the case. I also want to say in bracketology right now, Michigan State moved up to a 2 seed. Houston's up to a 2 seed. Obviously, Florida and Illinois still are 2 seeds. But yeah.
And then I do want to talk about Purdue. Um, they lose to Michigan State, and then they play Ohio State, and yeah, that just speaks for itself.
Yeah. And I think are they losing right now?
I'll look right now, but
They were losing to Northwestern. They are currently up 2 with 36 seconds left.
well,
So, yeah,
I'll keep a watch on that one. Also, Houston is losing to Baylor,
they are indeed.
but obviously Purdue, the struggles that Purdue's had, not what we're used to seeing. Um, they've struggled mightily as of late. They fell down. Michigan State's moving up, which was not a surprise to us because it's Tom Izzo. Um, and for Purdue, you kind of have to be very concerned about this team. Because this was a team where I'm talking about, title contender, in which they still are, but I think it's the chances are kind of slowly fading.
Yeah, I don't think Purdue can win a national championship this year. I don't think it's going to be their year. I just, I mean, man, just, they have their struggles, like you said, and their defense is the struggle for them. I mean, they're just their defense sucks. So plain and simple, it sucks. And if you want to win in March, you've got to have some sort of pulse on defense because you're going to play every single team that knows how to score a ball, basically. And some teams that don't, but you're going to play a ton of teams that do. Especially if you're a high seed like Purdue was, and we'll see depending on if they lose tonight or not, and where they drop and what they do in the Big Ten tournament. If you're a high seed and you play one of these lower teams that play a really good offensive style of ball, they easily could get upset. And that's just what you see with Purdue, and what you don't like with them is the fact that their defense is just not good.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, I mean, we mean you've had that conversation plenty of times. Don't want to harp on it too much, but it's been bad, and they could very well be upset early on. Um, but I do want to add to the bubble because that has been the big question. I kind of want to start with some teams and kind of just, give me your thoughts bubble wise. We'll start with Santa Clara before we'll get to the big one last. Okay, and you know what the big one is. But
Well, I just want to start with, honestly, I want to start with the last four buys right now because I know most people maybe not look at that. They look at the last four in, first four out. The last four buys are still just as important because of the fact of these teams could still drop into the bubble and make some of these teams that are the last four in or first four out move up. Um, and I want to look at some of those teams, especially SMU. They lost.
yep, they lost to Miami tonight.
Um, yeah, yeah, they lost tonight, which does not help their case. And they end the season playing FSU, which should be a win, but they're going to have to. I mean, I don't know how far this Miami loss drops them because Miami is good, but there's a chance they drop them into the last four in. And even with a win against FSU, that might not move them back into the last four buys, especially with their quad one percentage. Their quad one games, they have not won that many, and so that hurts them in that case. So they're going to have to do, I think, a little something in the ACC tournament to really make sure they get in, because they might have some quad one potential. And right now they're 4-8 in quad one. So I did want to mention them first. Obviously, the next team on this side of the last four buys is TCU, and TCU is looking like I mean, they're pretty much a lock, I think, to get in. They play Cincinnati in their last game, which is going to be hard because that's a team we'll talk about here in just a second. But good team playing amazing ball. But they beat Texas Tech last night, and that's a good win. That's a great win, especially over a great squad like Texas Tech. So I think that helps them out. I think they will be solidly in, I believe. But I guess we'll see, unless they drop a couple more games. The next team on the last four buys is UCLA. They've been playing some really good ball. I think they are one of the scariest teams. I don't think anybody wants to play them, no matter what their seed is. If they're like if they're an 8 seed or a 10, 9 seed, like if you're a 2 seed and you get to play them, nah, you don't want to be that team. They have played amazing. They've beat number 4 Purdue, number 10 Illinois, and number 9 Nebraska. You don't want to play them. You just don't. And great win, obviously a 20-point win at home against Nebraska last night. And the last team they play this year, an away game against USC, could be another quad one win for them, and that would get them up to 5-8 in quad one. That would be a great win. I think they're solidly in. I think they'll honestly move up and out of the last four buys. They don't think they deserve to be there anymore. Somebody will drop down. And then the last team is Texas A&M. They're an interesting squad, to say the least. They're 20-10, obviously. They have a 5-6 record in quad one. They beat Kentucky handedly, which really helps their cases. And they only play LSU to end the season. They're going to have to do something in the SEC tournament, I'd imagine, to just make sure they're a lock. I think they pretty much are, because they're not a team, unless they lose to LSU, they're not a team that's really on like the edge of being the last four in last four by, just because of their quad one record. They're pretty good, and they still look solid. So now we can get to the last four in.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to really give you some teams and
Mhm.
just kind of give me your thoughts. Obviously, Santa Clara being the first one for me.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts of them? And kind of what do they kind of have to do?
Well, looking at Santa Clara, it's difficult. They're one of the worst teams in their quad one games. They only have one win in quad one, and they're one of the lowest. Only a couple key teams beat them out. One of them being Louisville, which they do not have a single quad one win. But they're 1-5 in quad one. Obviously, they play in the WCC. They don't have a ton of chances per se, and their quad one wins, their quad one losses aren't bad. But at the same time, their only win comes against St. Mary's at home. But they're a good team. I mean, to be completely honest with you, they're a good team. This will all come down to the WCC tournament, obviously about to start, and we'll see, really. If they can, I think they're a dark horse to win the whole thing, for sure. And they could definitely do it. If they do it, they're automatically in. If they go far in the WCC tournament, I think they're more than likely in. I don't see any reason how the committee would drop them out because they have played close games. They've played great games. They've played some great ball. I think they're a good team, and I think they deserve to be in.
For sure. A very interesting team, but I think they played well as well. I want to go to not Iowa State, Ohio State. Uh, they get a big win over Purdue. Where do you think that kind of puts them?
I would say that puts them in. We've been waiting for this Ohio State team to get a quad one win. They've got two now. They're 2-10 in quad one, which is But they've played obviously a tough Big Ten schedule, and they're going to lose games, and it's okay and it's fine. But we need some of those quad one wins to actually look good, and actually make their resume somewhat appealing to the committee. Their last two games of the year, they play away at Penn State, and then they come back home and play Indiana. And they played Penn State today.
They beat them.
Playing, yeah, they beat them. And so their last game against Indiana is going to come down to the big one. I think honestly, it could be a case where whoever wins that game gets in. Whoever loses that game is completely out. I think there's a good chance for that. I also think there's a good chance that maybe it's not the case, and maybe even like if Indiana wins, there's still a chance for Ohio State. But I think Ohio State is looking good. They're ranked 34th in net, which puts them up there it puts them in a very good position to make it. But at the same time, they're going to have to beat Indiana in the season, and they're going to probably not need to lose in the first round of the Big Ten tournament.
And it kind of, you lead me perfectly into my next team because I was going to ask you about Indiana.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it does kind of come down to the game when they play Ohio State, because they beat Minnesota handily tonight. That's good for them. They needed that win. They're going away to Ohio State though, and that's going to be a tough game. And I don't see any reason why not to say that game could be a game that they go who's in, who's out. They have just as bad of a quad one record. Sorry, they're 2-11. Again, they play in the Big Ten. It's not gonna be easy. They played good teams. They're gonna lose. Yes, they're not bad losses. They beat Purdue and UCLA. Good wins. But at the same time, we've seen this team get blown out at times. I mean, they get blown out. They had these bad games. They've had these good games. They're back and forth. And net rating, they're 40th. Again, they're behind Ohio State, which is good for Ohio State. But at the same time, if they can get a win over Ohio State, then maybe this jumps them in front of them, and boom, they're in. I think it's going to need another win and maybe a couple wins in the Big Ten tournament to make sure that they're actually solidified.
For sure. I just want to cut to the chase. Let's go to the big team on the bubble. And exactly what I'm talking
about. I know what you're talking
about.
I live here. I know.
It's really conflicting, because you want to acknowledge the fact, their schedule.
Yeah.
But can you let a 14 to 15 loss team into the tournament?
Technically, you can. There's not a rule saying you can't. It doesn't look good on paper, though. It doesn't. It doesn't. As much as people might say, look, they're 5-1 in quad. They're 5-11 in quad one games. Yes, they're 5-11 in quad one games. They have 5 losses. That beats out a lot of teams that are above them in seeding. A lot of them. You look at Louisville, like I said earlier, they don't have a single quad one win. Well, yeah, it's going to look good. But at the same time, just because you win a few games doesn't mean you should get in. But again, just because you lose to a bunch of good teams doesn't mean you shouldn't be in either. It's tough. They have the hardest strength of schedule out of everybody in the nation. And there's good reason to think that they should be in. I don't think they're a bad team, but I don't think they're a great team either. I think they can be, and we've seen them at times be a great team. They lost to Oklahoma the other night. How do we do this? Yeah, like how do you do that? And then their last game of the season is away at Alabama. Quad one win, potentially. Could be huge for them. If they win that game, there's a good chance that they're in that last 4 in, and they're, like the last team. I still think it's going to take something in the SEC tournament because I just can't see them losing first week of the SEC tournament and then being like, oh, well, I think we deserve to be in. I think it's going to take a win this week at Alabama, and they know it. It's going to take a win in the SEC tournament, maybe even a couple wins in the SEC tournament. And I think they could get in. I think it'll be interesting, especially based on other teams, maybe some bid stealers and some other conferences, some mid-major ball, supposedly Miami, Ohio. I think there could be chances there. Who knows? It'll be interesting. Just like the Ole Miss loss, that was a quad 3 loss. That didn't look good for them. They're 2-2 in quad 2, but yes, they played a bunch of quad 1 games. I can't say they didn't do that. They definitely competed. They definitely put themselves out there. They gave them every chance. Got to give them credit for that. But at the same time, it's hard to say, honestly. We'll just have to see. They're going to have to win the next few games they play.
And I know what the committee's stressing about, and I know what they're hoping for. They're hoping for Miami to go and win the MAC tournament so they can just lay the argument to rest. I mean, the discussion, I've heard it so many different ways, but how do you punish an undefeated team that may lose a game in a conference tournament, which will be to Akron, who is a good mid-major? Like, how do you punish them? For they lose to Akron in the MAC championship game, or even lose a game to somebody in the MAC tournament?
Because they're 53rd. They're 53rd in net. That's why. They don't have a single quad 1 win. They have one quad 2 win. It's against Akron. If they were to lose to Akron, it would be a quad 2 loss. Actually, no, I think it would be a quad 1 game on a neutral floor. But they don't have a single win in quad 1. That's the reason why. And I know everybody hated Bruce Pearl for what he said. And obviously, yes, he still has an administrative job at Auburn. He's going to root for Auburn. Yes, understandable. But at the same time, his points are valid. All right, if you're a team like Auburn, you play in the SEC, you get all these quad 1 game opportunities. You play all these quad 1 teams. That's what happens. And you're playing, yes, in a probably 10 times better league. At the same time, though, you look at Miami, Ohio, and you go, how is there a way we punish this team? Because of what they've done and how many games they've won and the chance they could go undefeated. And all they got to do is beat Ohio, and they're undefeated regular season. I mean, like, it's understandable. I think they should get in, even if they lose to Akron, because, like you said, Akron is a good team, and on a neutral floor, they would be a quad 1 game, but it'd be their only quad 1 game, and they'd have 0-1 loss, which doesn't look good. But at the same time, they'd only be one loss team. They'd be a 3-34-1 team. I mean, You got to give it to them. Like, they're good. They've played amazing ball, and they deserve to be in the tournament. It just becomes really hard, especially on a statistical side of things, when you're comparing a team like Miami to a team like Auburn. And that was the whole reason why Bruce Pearl got so much fire like he did, is because those two teams are completely different. And you really can't compare them. It's like comparing apples to oranges. I mean, specifically red and orange. I didn't even realize I did that. But apples to oranges, it's legitimately, you can't, it's almost like you can't do it because they're in completely different situations, completely different ballparks, completely different conferences, and that makes a big difference.
To me, I think this is where the eye test comes into play.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch the games, you get an idea. You watch Miami, Ohio. Off my eyes, I think they're a tournament team.
Yeah.
Auburn
I
just
mean,
had its moments. I can't confidently say yes, they're a tournament team. I can't confidently say that. I mean, they can obviously be put in the tournament and compete. They can,
yeah,
but
I can see both. I can see both sides of it. I mean, again, Miami, Ohio is ranked 88th in KenPom. Where's Auburn ranked in KenPom? I mean, like, they're obviously going to be way above them. Like, it makes, again, it's a totally different thing. I mean, it's a hard conversation to have. You look at Auburn, you see the 14 losses, and that doesn't help. And if Auburn loses this week to Alabama, and if they don't go on to win the SEC tournament, then we can go ahead and scratch it off. We don't have to worry about it. Because I think no matter what, I think Miami still has a good chance, even if they lose to Akron. If Auburn wins this week at Alabama and they win a couple games in the SEC tournament, and there's a chance for a ton of that, I think we could be having a weird conversation, to say the least. A very uncomfortable one for the committee to have. But again, maybe you go to eye test, but then you could say at the same time, yeah, Miami, Ohio has all these wins, but have they really been confidently like blowing out these teams that they should be? I mean, they're barely beating them. I mean, eye test wise, it doesn't look great when you're barely beating a 238th ranked, Eastern Michigan team. It doesn't look great. It's a win, and winners win, and we always say that, and it makes total sense. They're undefeated. I'll give them all credit. It's so, like we said before, it's hard to do in any conference. I don't care what conference you put a team in. It's going to be hard to do. So you got to give them all that credit. At the same time, if we go straight to eye test, you go, well, Auburn's played these good teams close. They've also lost to these good teams by large margins. But Miami, Ohio also should probably be beating these teams by a larger margin than what they are. They beat Toledo by 2. 2 last night. Doesn't look great. At the same time, they're undefeated. That looks great. It looks 0 in the loss column looks way better than 14 in the loss column. It's hard. It's really, really hard to say. And honestly, we kind of hope for this to kind of settle itself out, and whether that's Auburn win or Miami, Ohio lose the next 3, whatever it takes, we kind of hope it settles itself out. It settles itself out and doesn't force a hard conversation.
yeah, I mean, again, it's tough. It's very hard to decipher. I know the committee's hoping that Miami just wins the MAC and then they can just lay it to rest. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be a conversation they have to face. But with
Okay.
that being said, let's go ahead into the our conference tournament picks. We'll kind of just go through these. Um, Obviously, you know, you're the basketball guy, and I'm just the what do you want to call me? The weekend warrior, I guess, of college basketball.
Sure.
I like that.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you want to think of yourself, I guess.
My boat afloat.
Sure.
Yeah. But with that, we're gonna start in the Patriot League. So I took Navy as my winner. They've been dominating the Patriot League. They look good. You got a 6'11" Aiden Keogh and Austin Benigni, point guard. Kid can play. Um, so they're my
Hmm.
winner. Um, I will say my dark horse. I took American. Um, they like to shoot three ball, and to be fair, they're the only team that beat Navy in conference play. I think they're an interesting team to look out for, though.
Yeah, I think so for sure. It can totally make sense, but at the same time, Navy should win this. They shouldn't have an issue with this tournament. They really shouldn't. And this would be big for them. They haven't made the conference. Well, they haven't made March Madness since 1998. So this would be huge for Navy. Be great. Um, but they have no reason why they should lose. I mean, let's be honest. I think this would be the biggest upset of all mid majors if they lose the Patriot League, just because of how much they have blown every single team out of the water, other than that one game against American, yes. But they have blown every single team by double digits. They should win the Patriot League tournament by double digits over every single game. Let's just be honest. They really should. But my dark horse is Colgate. I mean, there's really no reason other than they're the closest, like, just built roster compared to Navy. They have the guys that can play against Navy. They have the shooters. They can shoot the ball good. They play good offense. They do these things well. They just don't do them as well as Navy. And so, honestly, I mean, they're a dark horse for a reason. I think they could win some games. I think their side of the bracket is on the easier side for them as well. But again, Navy should run away with this.
Yeah. We're going to go with NEC. I took Central Connecticut to win. I went with an oddball. I took Lemoyne as my dark horse. I kind of, their third, Lemoyne's a third offense, third field goal percentage in the conference, and their first uh, defense in the conference in the opponent field goal percentage category. But Central Connecticut, they're the first offense, second best field goal percentage, first free throw percentage, third in the opponent field goal percentage. However, turnovers and rebounding are an issue. I'm going to give a little spoiler alert. They lost to Wagner tonight. And
Yeah, they did.
I a side note for Wagner.
They
They're
did.
first in the rebound margin, which, like, kind of a big thing if you want to win basketball games. They beat them
True.
They beat them by 10 tonight.
True, and that I did it for him tonight. So my dark horse is already out the window.
Oh, and Lemoyne, they also lost to Stonehill. So, yeah, it's beautiful, man. It's all beautiful.
Yeah, no. Central Connecticut already out for me. Dark horse. That was my dark horse because they again kind of like the same thing with the Patriot League. LIU is the big favorite here over everybody else. Really, they've just played the better ball. Central Connecticut was the closest to them, I would say, than everybody else. There's a reason why they're the second ranked seeding in their tournament. But at the same time, LIU played a close game tonight against Binghamton, and they barely won.
LIU,
Thought they might lose.
LIU played close with Chicago State.
Sorry, yes. Chicago State. I don't know why I said Binghamton. Sorry, I don't know why I said. I was like, wait a second, Binghamton's not in. Oh yeah, sorry. Yes, they Chicago State. They barely won. I thought they were gonna lose because there was a chance they did, but they pulled it off. They won. Again, I think LIU should run the table.
The issue, with LIU, I made a couple of notes here. Like, they're seventh in the opponent field goal percentage category, and they're last in the free throw percentage, which requires them to
Doesn't win you games. Doesn't win you games.
Yeah, I mean, it requires you to have to score a lot. I mean,
yeah.
So
in close games like tonight, that's why they get so scared in those situations because of the fact of their free throw percentage. So again, if they get in another one of these close games against, let's say Stonehill in the next game, they could potentially lose, or they do it against Wagner or Mercyhurst, whoever they play. Again, the chance they could lose. I mean, I still think though they should win this conference
for sure. Let's go to the OVC. I got Tennessee State as my winner.
Yes,
UT
favorite
Martin
conference on planet Earth.
Both teams that beat UNLV this year. which is very sad, really heartbreaking. But Tennessee State,
Sorry. I love that stat. I love that stat. That's actually
hey buddy,
that's a.
just know we beat Utah State twice this year, twice. Watch where you're walking. So
I'm just saying it's a great stat. That's all I was saying.
yeah, I mean they're first in offensive scoring in the conference. They have the ninth defense in the country, not in the conference. Whoa, and their second in free throw percentage. Tennessee State is. Then you go to UT Martin, their first defense in the country. Golly, in the conference, first
My
defense,
word, there's something in something.
first defense in the conference. However, offensively, they're not really a powerhouse in the conference. So they're an interesting team. We've talked about. I mean, I've obviously talked about them. I've listened to plenty of their head coach talking, interviews and whatnot. But just kind of the team they have, they're a good roster. Tennessee State, watched them beat UNLV. I actually watched both teams beat UNLV, so got a little bit of an eye test.
Yeah. I actually took my winner is Morehead State. They've won 7 games in a row, and you've got to be hot going into March, whether that's conference tournament or actual tournament. If you're playing good ball, it really does help you.
I will say I was a little stubborn because I was. You'll notice a lot of my picks going forward. I went off of winning streaks and I wanted to take them, but I also I was like, you know what, I'm going to rock with Tennessee State.
I mean, I know it makes total sense, but they've beat UT Martin, they've beat Tennessee State in this 7-game win streak. There's no reason why I see that they shouldn't continue to stay hot. I mean, legitimately, I don't see a reason. But at the same time, it's March. Anything can happen. And my dark horse is UT Martin. Go Skyhawks. Same logo as the school I go to, so give it to them. But at the same time, go Skyhawks. UT Martin, I love UT Martin basketball. Easton knows it. I mean, they play some great ball, huh?
You preach on it.
I'm just saying. I mean, Jeremy Schulman is an absolute. He's a dog, man. Jeremy Schulman, the head coach, is a dog. I love the way he runs. I mean, he is probably, honestly, mid-major wise, he's probably one of the smartest guys out there. He runs some great sets, some great defenses. I mean, his offense can be better. Obviously, we know. A lot of international guys on the team as well. They have a lot of scorers. But at the same time, they've looked great. There's every reason they should go on a run in the OVC. They are probably actually the favorites. I think they might be to win the OVC championship just because of the fact of what they do and how they play and how good their defense is, even though they haven't been great. Yes, they lost to Tennessee State, and they lost by a large margin when they played them too. We won't talk about that, especially even at home. But flip the script. And Andrija, I would butcher his last name. Not even wouldn't even try it. Haven't all year. But Andrija is played great. He averages almost 14 points a game. Their defense, like you already talked about, is insanely good. There's no reason why they can't win. There's no reason why they can't win a bunch of games in a row. And so they're my dark horse, but honestly, like in my mind, the favorite because why not? They do have to play Tennessee State though. If they do win their game against SIUE, sorry. But if they beat them, Eastern Illinois. Where did I say SIUE? That was a team that Eastern Illinois beat. Eastern Illinois. If they beat Eastern Illinois, then they'd have to play Tennessee State. Not going to be easy in that regards. But I would say they, have the better draw. But again, who knows? It's March. They're my dark horse. Morehead State's my winner.
Let's go to the SoCon now. I'm taking Samford as my winner. My dark horse is Western Carolina. This is where the win streak comes into play. They've won 6 in a row. They've got the 4th defense in the conference. They lead the conference in rebounding, and they have the fourth offense in the conference for Western Carolina. So they're my dark horse, but Stanford, third offense in the conference, third defense in the conference. They're kind of just, to me, this is more of a heart pick. I'm going with my heart with this one.
I mean,
you look baffled, Jaden. You really do. And also, ETSU lost 2 in a row, so that's, not necessarily saying that means a lot, but it's like, just
no, I can totally see why. I'm not saying that you're out of your mind because no, I don't think you are. Even though the Western, not it's not a bad pick because they have played good recently. They've been on a little bit of a, I guess you could say, hot streak. They've played better ball. And yes, ETSU did lose.
I feel like we should make a wager if West Carolina somehow wins this conference.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after. Again though, like it's not insane to think, but ETSU's been good. They've been great. I've watched a few of their games this year, and they've beat everybody in the conference other than Western Carolina. I know that I know. Don't even. I know. They're the only team they have not beat. That is hard to kind of swallow. It is. Okay, I don't want you to even say anything about that because it is. But at the same time, I say ETSU is the best team. They've played the best ball, and my dark horse is actually going to be Furman.
I have watched Furman this year. They're quite an interesting squad to watch.
They've played great ball. Honestly, they just haven't been that efficient, and that's only really their problem. So they go back and forth. But again, ETSU, I think they can win. Brian Taylor, second, 14.5 points a game. He's played great. ETSU squad can score. They've got the best defense. There's no reason why they shouldn't win. But yeah.
Let's go to the Sun Belt now. I took Troy. It's my winner. Gonna go. They got the size. They're gonna be a good team. For my dark horse, which I don't really know if you can really call this a dark horse when there's 6 teams at 11-7.
Yeah.
I went with Arkansas State. Watching a little bit this year, I think they're an interesting team that I've seen.
I don't think there's any reason why they can't win. They've been good. They've been great. They've been bad. They've been terrible at some point. Like all these teams have. But they've been good. They're a very valid pick, a pick that a lot of people are picking as well in Arkansas State. My winner, though, I'm going with good old USA. I just love watching their style of basketball. I'm not gonna lie. South Alabama, they've been up and down at some points. They've lost some games they shouldn't. They've won some games that they probably shouldn't either. And they lost their last game against Southern Miss. Understandable, I know it's hard to say, but they've beat Troy. That's the favorites in this. They've beat everybody at least once. Can't see why they can't do it in the conference tournament. Other than Texas State, by the way. They did lose to Texas State twice. But South Alabama was my pick, and my dark horse is technically App State. Another good team. Just solid all-around team. Again, not really a dark horse like you said, because a week ago you could say that App State was one of the favorites. But yeah, App State, I think they can win as well. Sun Belt, Fun Belt. I don't know how they set that up, but or who came up with the mastermind of an absolute bracket. But that thing is lovely to look at.
And you can't freaking come watch a game, so I'm still mad at you. The Big South, obviously I took High Point. I mean, you won 11 in a row. I think you're on track. To be good in the Big South. My dark horse, I'm going to say for the plot. I took Charleston Southern. I think they're going to be an interesting team in this tournament. And that's all I need to say on them.
I would agree with that. They might be an interesting team. They could lose by 20, or they could win a game. Who knows? Yeah, my winner is obviously High Point. They've been amazing this year. They should win this tournament, I would think, by a million. There are a couple teams that could probably compete with them, Winthrop, Radford being the two of them. But my dark horse pick is actually Longwood. They made a tournament a couple of years ago. It's really weird because honestly, most people probably wouldn't pick Longwood. They're 8-8 in conference play, and they haven't looked too great to say the least. But they've won 2 in a row. They beat Charleston Southern and Radford. 2 not too bad teams. They've lost to High Point and twice, but they beat Winthrop once. Got to give them a chance, I guess. That's my team. I just kind of want them to win just because I thought they would be a fun dark horse pick, really. But High Point should run away with this conference, and they've played great. They could be a Cinderella to look out for, but we'll see if they actually win the conference to begin with.
The big guy now, to be honest, this one I was thrown in a whirlwind. Didn't really know what to do. So I took Eastern Washington as my winner. And I went with Northern Colorado as my dark horse.
Interesting. I don't really have much to say. My winner is being Portland State. They've been the best team in the conference, I guess. There's not really anybody that's kind of like separated themselves a ton in the Big Sky. So it's hard to say. But they're going to be my team. They've been the best team in the conference, just above Montana State, which would have been my next pick. But then my dark horse, and technically really not really a dark horse, they're 4th in the conference, but UNCO, they've had a good year, honestly. They have 20 wins on the year. Can't hurt them for that. They've won 2 games in a row. They beat Idaho and Montana. They have to play Montana again in 5 days for the first game of the tournament. And Quinn Denker is a dog. He scores 19 points a game for them. So, dog. He could definitely lead them to a conference title, or at least compete for one. But again, Portland State, the only thing I hate about them is the fact that they lost. They've lost 4 of their last 6. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? And they've lost to Montana State, and they've lost to Montana. And they lost to UNCO. I don't know. It's a hard conference to pick. But again, they have a guy that leads them. They're scoring 19 points at Terry Miller Jr. So, either way, it could go either way.
For sure. Now let's go to the MAC.
The MAC.
The MAAC. My winner is Merrimack, 17-13. They've been good. They've been playing some really good ball. I love how they play basketball. So they should win this conference. My dark horse, I kind of just went around the conference, just running teams through my head, and I decided I'm going to take Marist as my dark horse. The Red Foxes.
Hey, I don't hate it. I like Marist. They're a good team. My winner though is going to be Merrimack. I got to watch them play Florida earlier in the season, and obviously Florida demolished them. But they do play a interesting zone defense that I definitely works in the MAC. They've won 11 of their last 12 games. There's no reason why they shouldn't win this conference. Let's be honest. Kavere Kennedy for them is their best player. He leads them in points and assists and field goals percentage. The man's a dog. He's played great. He leads this team. There's no reason why they shouldn't win. They've only lost 3 games in conference this year. But my dark horse for the winner is Siena. They've also played great this year. You can't count them out. They have 20 wins. The only other team in that conference with 20 wins. They've played great. They've beat teams. They've beat all the teams, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. And they also have a guy in Gavin Dottie that averages 18 points, and he also leads the team in field goal percentage. So don't hate him, but I like Merrimack.
There you go. Let's go to the Southland now. I took McNeese. They're just a good team. I think they beat CBF Austin. I think they're better. They're going to be a better team in the conference. Obviously, the regulars didn't show, but they're a really good team. And then my dark horse. This shouldn't be a surprise to you. What I'm going to take. I'm going to take New Orleans, though. I mean, I think that they're a solid team. Well, we're not a conference play, but we've seen. Obviously this is conference play, not non-con, but we've seen what they've been able to do. I think they can go on a run and win the conference.
I mean, I don't hate it because we have seen how good this New Orleans team can be at some points, but they have been bad as of recent. They're not great in conference either. I'm going against you here, though, and winner, and I am going Stephen F. Austin to win. I think they have been the better team over at McNeese. Yes, they lost to McNeese the first time they played. Second time they played, they beat them. I think on a neutral floor, they can beat them. They've won a ton of. I mean, again, they've only lost 2 games in conference, and one of those coming to McNeese, and the other one coming to New Orleans, which, so be it. It makes sense. But Keon Thompson, if you don't know who Keon Thompson is, he's a dog. Just go watch. I've said every one of these guys have been dogs. Keon Thompson is a dog. All right, he can score the ball about as well as pretty much anybody else. He leads that team. They've played amazing. I don't see any reason why they can't beat McNeese again. I would say it's going to be a close game, but I think they are the better team. They're one of the best offensive teams in the nation. They play offense like it's their job, and it is. So I think they'll win. My dark horse is UT Rio Grande Valley, though. UTRGV, baby. Just because, I'll be honest with you. Because they've played great down the stretch.
Why? That's where Drake gets Longhorn one. Okay, before he came to UNLV and became an even bigger of a dog. Okay, that's where he was.
Really, because they won 12 of their last 14 games. To be completely real with you,
that'll do it too.
Yeah, that's that. They just completely real with you. That's why. 12 of their last 14, because just want to make sense to this. They were 2-6 in conference before that. They've been hot. They've been hot. They've been hot. Their only losses are coming to FS, obviously Stephen F. Austin and McNeese, in those 12 games, and they've beat McNeese once. So I don't see any reason why they can't. They've been hot. They've been good. That's what you kind of need going into March. So yeah.
Go to the American East. It's like UMBC. They've won 8 straight. They're pretty good. My dark horse, JIT. Just because.
Yeah, we can kind of just quickly go through this one. I think UMBC is my winner. Them and Vermont are basically like the same exact teams, to be completely real. Like, I swear I think they could play 50 games and each of them would win 25. That's honestly how the American East goes. Vermont could win, UMBC could win, and my dark horse is NJIT because they've played some great balls recently.
For sure. Let's go to the ASUN. I took Central Arkansas. 3rd offense, 3rd defense, 4th rebounding in the conference. My dark horse is Lithium, but I really, really wanted to take Bellarmine because, they can shoot the ball really well. They really can. But what defense do they have?
None.
They don't.
They don't have a single one.
But I really want to take Bellarmine. But I'm going to go with Lipton with my dark horse. fourth offense, fourth defense in the conference, third in turnover margin in the conference. But Central Arkansas, they're a good team, and I think they'll win the Sun.
Yeah, my dark horse is Lipscomb. I honestly love the Lipscomb team. I love watching Lipscomb play basketball. They're just an interesting team to watch. They move the ball around a ton. They're 23rd in the nation in assists per game. They move the ball. Assist turnover ratio, I think they're like top 20 as well. They're a great team to watch. They shoot the three ball as well. Great as well. They can do all those things. But my winner, Austin Peay. Austin Peay. I think they're better than Central Arkansas. I'm just going to be completely honest. Central Arkansas is a good team. They've played great ball as of recently. They kind of came out of nowhere if you were paying attention to the ASUN because for a while you just thought it was just going to be Austin Peay at the top. And Austin Peay lost their last two games. Yes, I know they lost to Bellarmine as well last game, and they lost to Central Arkansas. But at the same time, before that, they won 10 games in a row, I believe. And they've played great this year. I think they'll bounce back from those two losses. And I think they will run the table.
Let's roll through these last ones real quick. We got 4 more, so we'll go through them real quickly here. Verizon League, Wright State winner, Dark Horse RMU. Kind of no surprise there.
Yeah.
I mean, good teams.
Yeah.
NBC, we can talk about this one. I mean, Belmont's my winner, but my dark horse is Murray State. But, I mean, legitimately, 6 teams could win this conference.
That's totally facts.
I mean, honestly, if I was feeling real hearty and real, I would put Valparaiso just because I feel like they get upset. But we'll stick to the UNI and above with UNI, UIC, Murray State, Illinois State, Bradley, and Belmont. It's a crazy conference. I cannot wait to watch this tournament. I will be all eyes on the NBC.
Yeah, I think my dark horse is UNI. A little interesting just because they're the 6th team and
they're 11.
Yeah, but UNI, they've beat every team in conference at least once. They've played close pretty much everybody. They haven't lost too bad to most of these teams. We've seen this conference be all over the place. They can definitely win, but Belmont is my favorite to win. They're who I think will win. They're an amazing team. If you have not watched them play ball, watch them play ball because more than likely you'll watch them in March Madness play ball. But yeah, Belmont, man, they should win this. But again, like you said, there's 6 teams that can win this as well.
For sure.
So it'll be very interesting to watch.
For sure. We'll go to the Summit League. I got St. Thomas, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Horse being North Dakota.
Same. Legitimately the same. St. Thomas has been amazing. NDSU is the only other team I think that can compete with them. St. Thomas has some amazing scores of the ball. Their offense is one of the best in the nation as well with how effective it runs. They score, I think, almost 90 points a game. So they will be a hard team to beat. But my dark horse is North Dakota. They've played some good ball as of late, and they've beat teams that they need to beat. So why not?
Final conference tournament, West Coast Conference, winner Gonzaga, dark horse Santa Clara. I mean,
Same exact thing.
Gonzaga's good. Yeah. No Braden Huff. That's kind of scary, but they're still a good team.
That was hard between Gonzaga and St. Mary's because honestly, St. Mary's could win this tournament just as much as either of those two teams next to them that we mentioned. Gonzaga's played great though. I think they'll run. I think they'll win this. I think they will, because they are just a better team and they have the better players, and I think it'll look good for their resume and seeding and stuff. So I think they have a little more incentive. But at the same time, if you're Santa Clara, dark horse, you win the WCC, you don't have to worry about being one of the last 4 in. So, I mean, at the same time, I think they could win. We talked about them earlier. They're a great team. They play good ball. We've seen them be close against the good teams in St. Mary's and Gonzaga in their conference. They have not gotten the wins they needed, though. Maybe they do it in the tournament. Why not? But St. Mary's as well, sitting there right there in the middle. I wouldn't even be surprised if they win too.
For sure, man. With that being said, that's our conference tournament picks. That's our recap of the week. bunch of craziness. Is there anything you want to add before we close it out here?
I don't believe so. I think all the scores have gone final. Did Purdue end up winning tonight? Yes, they did, and Houston did as well. So good for them. Um, good for them. But no, I think that's all I've got for tonight. To be honest,
For
we
sure.
talked about a lot.
Bunch of craziness. Go watch all the conference tournament. Tune in tomorrow for college baseball. I'm excited to do that. Um, Hockey's back on. I mean, a bunch of craziness in the sport. But I'd focus on March because it's that time of year. So go watch the tournaments. Go get some information. Sit on the couch. Get your oversized hoodie. I don't know, DoorDash pizza, Chick-fil-A, Mexican food, whatever you're kind of into. Or you can just, cook out on the grill, which you can never go wrong with, really.
All right, Easton's getting out cooking tips and food tips. I didn't know I was gonna be hearing that tonight, but yeah, do any of those things. But also go follow us on Instagram, Threads,
Oh,
TikTok, YouTube.
I do want to make
Oh,
a note. I will be getting some shorts out this week. There's been a lot of NFL news. With all that's going, obviously, with a lot we have to cover, I will get some shorts out with all the trades going on. Obviously, the David Montgomery, Kyler Murray, all that great stuff. I'll get some shorts out there just to kind of go
well,
into.
well, then perfect reason to go follow us on
Yeah,
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, and then go like and share our podcast or watch it as well on Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube. Go do those. Go share, like, and comment, and we'll actually see you all tomorrow for back-to-back episodes.
we will. Hope you all tomorrow night.
Yep. See you tomorrow.